What?
I was doing this as one of my, can I still do that as one of my, because that was one of the videos that I watched.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care if you're watching videos that cover the same stuff that I'm covering. It's always good to see it twice. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new, should really have a blank Unreal for this, but whatever. So I'm gonna make a new folder, and we'll just call it test. We'll put all our stuff in here. Alright, so we want to import something. Let me go and grab like something that actually has more than one texture. So probably use my astronaut guy.
Do you have to bring it back to Maya from Substance Painter and then to Unreal?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So you can take, basically we're going to take the mesh out of Maya, and then we're going to take the maps out of Substance Painter. Yeah. Alright. Open source images. This might take a minute to open because it's a huge Substance Painter file. But alright, so we've got our mesh. You just come in here and say File, Export, Selection, with your selection selected. Big surprise. And then just pick a path, whatever. I'll put it on my desktop. Test, export. Okay, so now we've got a file on our desktop called test export. There it is. Do all this. Okay, test export.
That's like SPX, right?
Yes. Yep. So we got our FBX. Now we can go into our Substance Painter file. So this is my, Substance Painter, and I've got a few different textures. I've got color, no height. This is roughness. This is metallic, normal, and height. Blah blah blah. Okay. You go up here, file, export textures. And you get this thing. It asks you which materials you want to export, and it asks you where you want to put them. I'm going to put them on my desktop in a new folder. Call it Substance Export. Okay, everybody following so far? We can set dilation infinite. That's good. Export. Now it'll think for a little while. It'll take, depending on how complicated your layer stack is and how many textures you have, etc. Determine how long this takes. My, 9-core CPU and 64 gigs of RAM come in handy here. Okay, so now here's our exports. All right, so see, it made all these textures for us. Nice. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to bring these into Unreal. So we've got Unreal, we've got our blank folder. It should be as simple as just dragging and dropping. Boom. First, it's going to ask for our FBX import. There's a whole bunch of settings in here. Main ones are don't make it skeletal, turn combined meshes on. You probably want that to be on. Convert scene, force x-axis. I usually like those on. But basically, like if you don't have that on, it might just be flipped around or whatever. So import. Now it'll think for a minute. Okay, it gives us some warnings. Boom, there's our mesh, and here is our textures. Cool. Okay, so it automatically created a material because it's searching asset names, and I already have that material in my project. But by default, what's going to happen is you won't have a material, so these will all be blank. This is what it'll look like for you. It's going to come in, your mesh will come in blank, but you've got your textures. Everybody following so far? Okay, so now we want to set up materials. Has everybody taken Alan's classes? Do you all know about like materials kind of basics? Do you want me to go over setting up materials like from scratch, or is that just going to be redundant? Yes, you'd like that, or yes, that would be redundant?
Just like go through it.
Okay.
Or like, just do the process.
Okay, I just like, I'm so easily bored, like if I already know something, I'm like, oh, shut up, I know this. You know, but okay, if you want me to go through it, I will. Alright, so I'll make a folder. Call it materials. Do you know about master materials and material instances? Okay. So we'll make our master material and demo, whatever. And so basically what we'll do is we'll set up one material. By the way, Unreal runs way faster if all your tabs are docked. I don't know if everybody knows that or not. Okay, so, okay, this is another trick I like to do. I always like to have a lot of different content browsers open. What did I call my folder? Did I call it test? Oh. It helps to stay organized. What did I call it? I thought I called it test. Oh well. Yeah. Oh, oops, I put it in my audio folder. Yeah, oops. Don't do that. Just don't put everything in your audio folder. But whatever, I did, so we'll roll with it. Alright, yes, so this is why I wanted to have two content browsers open. One for my materials and one for my textures. Alright, so we've got our textures open. So I'm gonna set up my first texture. So I want my diffuse. We'll use armor. Search armor. Wait, where's armor? Oh, wait. What is it? It's not supposed to look like that, is it? Okay, I might have exported the wrong textures. Oh, I used the Amazon Lumberyard export. I don't want that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Substance Painter and we're gonna use the right export. There's one for Unreal Engine 4 packed. Yeah, that's the one we want. Oh, and that's what's wrong. Okay. Unreal Engine 4 packed. Okay, so this is where you set your output template. Alright, now we can export it. So you see what I did wrong? I just used the wrong output template, so I got the wrong maps. So now I'm using the right output template, I'll get the right maps. Okay, now we can see what we got. That's more like it. So we've got a diffuse texture, normal map. Those are our packed roughness channels. Yeah, okay. Cool. Alright, so now I want to take these. I want to go in here. Whoa. I want to delete all that. Bring these in. Okay. Everybody following? Any questions? No?
What was the output thing?
Output then?
Yeah, you were saying that you used the wrong output.
I used the wrong preset. So in your settings in Substance Painter, when you have you have an output template, and you want to choose Unreal Engine 4.
What did you have at first?
I had Amazon Lumberyard,
Okay.
which is a different game engine that I don't think even exists anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon bought the CryEngine years ago and thought they would do something fancy with it, and they never did. So
They bought CryEngine?
They bought, they bought CryEngine and forked it into something called Lumberyard.
Okay, so yeah, because like CryEngine still exists.
Does it?
Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, it uses CryEngine? Nice.
Yeah, a lot of games use CryEngine.
Mm.
Monster Hunter Rise used it as well. Like they make a lot of
Yeah.
games with that engine.
Cool. Okay, well anyway, so don't use Lumberyard, use Unreal Engine 4. Okay, so now we have our textures. Okay, we're back on track. I don't think these will be properly. Make sure these are all gone. Oh, I know what happened.
Deliverance. Apparently.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be a pretty cool game. Oh yeah, so by the way, okay, here's a little trip thing, a little thing that'll trip you up. And this is subtle. So does it notice, I don't know if you can even see on the TV, but do you see how it says VT in the corner on this? You see that? So that means virtual texture. And that basically is a fancy thing that we don't need. So we want to not have this be a virtual texture. You literally, you come in here and you can just, there's a checkbox for it somewhere. Virtual texture streaming, you want that to be off, okay? But it's gonna be a pain in the ass to do that for all, 15 of these textures or whatever, so I'll show you a trick. Watch this, you can select everything and you can say asset actions bulk edit via property matrix. And that'll open up this like spreadsheet. And this lets us edit things, multiple things at once. So you see this virtual texture, we got a column for it right there. We can just come in here and turn it off. Turn it all off at once. There. And then we can save all. So now it's saving all those so that they're not virtual textures. And now there's no VT in the corner. Make sense? Questions about that?
Why don't we want the virtual texture?
Because virtual textures are basically for like huge textures that you only want to stream in the parts of which you need.
Okay.
So like say for example you got a landscape and it's got like unique like painted textures, and so your landscape is like, it's like 4 kilometers wide and you've got like a 40,000 by 40,000 pixel texture for it, but your character's only going to be in one spot at a time. Unreal has technology to stream in the part of the texture you need and not the rest of it, which is really cool, but it's not what we need for a character. We need every pixel of these textures all the time, so we don't want it to be a virtual texture. So we want to disable that. Yeah. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can make our actual texture. So we can select our color map, we can come in here and we can press T. That's a little shortcut, and so that'll create a texture sample node, and it'll default it to the image that we had selected in our content browser. So we've got that. We also want our normal map. Hold T, boom, there's our normal map. And we also want our packed masks. Hold T.
So you just click on it and then hold T?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Another question regarding the virtual textures, not the virtual textures function, but don't you have, would those not be like duplicates of the original textures? Or are they, my question is when you import them, do you get like a series of virtual textures and a series of just standard textures, or?
When you import textures into Unreal, it doesn't create a new, it creates a U asset file.
Right.
So like if we open these up in Windows Explorer,
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a PNG anymore.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's a U asset, so.
I'm just wondering because a lot of those, or maybe they're not duplicates, never mind, I just can't see.
Yeah, they all look really similar, but it's like this is for like his armor, that's for his shirt,
Right.
this is the helmet, that's his glove.
Okay.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah, never mind. I thought they were just like duplicates and some were converted to virtual textures and others weren't.
Okay, no, they're all unique, and we disabled virtual texture on all of them at once through the
Yeah.
property matrix. Okay. Cool. All right. So now we've got our demo material, so we can start hooking everything up. So we'll take our color RGB, put it to color, and then you'll see the preview here should update. Save. I wonder if my Okay, so my preview is broken for some reason. That's fine. But, okay, so you see how like I apply this and now I've got color? Alright, so what I wanna do now is apply my normal. So RGB goes to normal. And then for my masks, so the way the masks work, remember it's the template is called Unreal Engine 4 Packed. This is why. So this texture looks crazy, right? But that's because it's packed ambient occlusion in the red channel, roughness in the green channel, and metallic in the blue channel.
Oh, I love doing that.
Yup. So this is a classic game engine optimization trick, basically. So rather than having 3 separate textures, we can just have one with this info packed into the
And it's all
channels.
just layered, it's great.
Yep. And so we can use that by now, so we know our ambient occlusion is in red. So we take red and push it to ambient occlusion. Roughness is in green, we take that and push it to roughness. Metallic is in blue, so we take that and push it to metallic.
Wait, can you take a picture of that?
Here you go, take a picture.
Huh?
I said take a picture.
Oh, perfect. Do I know?
I love
I
doing
can
that.
see anything. I hear what you're saying.
A lot of shaders in Unity, like at least like the pre-made shaders, don't support that. Oyomi does.
What does?
Oyomi, the Switch Army knife of shaders that a lot of people who play VR chat use is just like an all-in-one shader that's
Yeah.
developed. Basically, a shader like so complex and so useful that it was single-handedly responsible for multiple breakthroughs in Unity shader technology.
Oh, nice. I would always use Shader Forge and make my own, which was basically like a.
Which is what I'm gonna have to do for my
copy of
senior
this.
project later on.
You
Just to
can
save
use,
rendering compilation
Is the
time.
state of shaders in Unity, at least as of last year, was a total mess.
It depends on who's coding it, because Koyomi has like an entire custom UI that makes it like really easy. It has like
Yeah.
a bunch of options, and when you compile it, basically when you lock the material, it locks its state and removes like all the arbitrary code from all the stuff that you didn't use, and basically creates a new version of itself
Yeah.
with just the properties that you
That's
need.
what
But
Unreal's
it's like using a
material
different
editor
shader
does.
for every single material, so it's not advised to do that in the game.
Yeah. That's what this does in Unreal. So it's
Yeah.
this all compiles down to HLSL code, but you've just got this nice,
It's